So apparently, Darnell Savage asked for his release after the Week 11 game versus the Dolphins. So the Commanders had a bye week this week, and they're kind of enjoying their bye week. But apparently, Darnell Savage was not having it anymore, and he wanted off of the off of the Washington Commanders. So they cut him because, again, he requested to be cut. And it's funny because Week 11 was his best game, so it kind of does make sense, low key, that he had his best game of the season. He knows everyone's going to be looking at that game once he gets cut, so he wants to get cut because he's going to show off his best product. Where if he plays, Week 12, there's never a chance that he's going to show anything else good. But Week 11, he did actually put up 2 combined tackles, 1 solo tackle, and 1 assist tackle. But his huge thing there was he was actually really good in coverage. So it's one of his best coverage days of the year. So the question is, should we pick up Mr. 51 coverage grade on PFF? Now, keep in mind, the Commanders' defense in general sucks, so I don't really put too much on him. And if you look at his time, obviously he spent 2 weeks with Jacksonville this year, and then he spent the rest with the Commanders. But you can see his coverage grade, again, by far was the best. 78 tackles, 73.6 coverage grade, 76.2 defensive grade. That's why he asked for a release. Because he's like, whoa, this is going to be the best I'm going to give you. Like, this is the best stat-wise we're giving you. So, might as well hit the free agency market and try to see if another team will bite. Kind of interesting, to be honest. I know the Commanders are in a really bad place, so, kind of do want to get out of there. Now, should we pick him up? Sure. I mean, he's 28 years old. He just turned 28, by the way. And, I'm not saying he becomes a starter. Obviously not. But as a rotational piece, maybe we could see what he could do. I do like the idea, though, of giving Tyson Anderson and now Anthony more snaps to see what we can get out of those guys. Because picking up someone like Darnell Savage here, he's not going to be a starter. He's going to be a rotational piece. But you start to kind of get in this rhythm of who is the future of this team, right? Who's the future of this defense that we can build upon? Darnell Savage is not going to be the future of this defense. So while, yes, again, like I said, I would not mind picking him up for a rotational piece, my assumption is, especially because he asked to be released, he's probably doing it because he wants to be a starter somewhere else, and he's hoping that him getting this gig, right, getting this really good game, is going to propel him into being a starter somewhere else. And I just don't think we're really going to make him the starter. I know Geno Stone has had some bad games this year, and definitely, you can make the argument that, okay, well, he can replace Geno Stone. And maybe he can. Maybe he'll get rotational snaps, and he'll compete for that battle. My assumption is he probably wants to be guaranteed the start wherever he goes. Now he's a free agent, right? And he's obviously not having the best season of his career, so a beggar can't be a chooser. But that would be my assumption, or he just wants to go to a team that's already, established and has a good record. Patriots, a good example of that, where he could just go and try to win a Super Bowl. Again, like I said, we don't know the mindset of this guy, but if he's okay with being a rotational piece in a defense that, is really up and coming the last 2 weeks, sure. I don't mind going after him. At the end of the day, could it hurt us? No. It can only benefit us. And whatever the contract we give him is not going to be that much money. So it's not like we're going to be paying him a lot of money. So at this point, having as many pieces as possible in this puzzle to be able to rotate in and out guys, especially when they get tired, especially when there's a long drive, because how our defense plays. Even though our defense is playing a lot better, and I give them a lot of credit, right, and I'm very proud of them, they do always play bend, don't break defense. And that's just kind of how they are. That's how they always been. The Bengals defense has always been bend, don't break defense. And if you play like that, you're going to also have to deal with the fact that, you need rotational pieces. You need guys to be backups. You need guys to fill in and, kind of rotate around, because you can't have a guy in there for 12 plays and then your offense scores a touchdown on one play, and then he's back in there for 12 plays. I know football players are amazing, but they're still human at the end of the day. Anyway, guys, tell me down below your thoughts and opinions. Again, this is another player who, listen, at the end of the day, if we pick him up, I wouldn't be against the idea just because I think it could help us out. But at the same time, I don't know if he really would want to come here. That's another factor. Our defense is definitely, last 2 weeks have been pretty amazing, and I think they're definitely up and coming right now. But at the same time, this is a system where it's not just, hey, come in and you're going to be on the #1 defense in football. This is a guy who I could see going somewhere like Philly, right? Because Philly's defense is that good, and they are set up like that. So I could see him going somewhere like that or trying to get in ring chase. So, hey, if he wants to come here, come on. Come on, join the show, okay? AFC North is so bad this year, we might win it by default. So, technically we could. We could actually be 8-9 and win the division. That's how absolutely dog water this division is this year and how embarrassing it is to say we are in the AFC North. A couple years ago, our AFC North was considered the best division in football. I just want to say that right now. A couple years ago, best division in football. See you guys next one, though.